If you want to upgrade your skills from 3x3 to 4x4, then this is the perfect video for you. Here is a 4x4 beginner's tutorial. The idea for solving a 4x4 is we want to replicate a 3x3. But the thing is, a 3x3 has centers, but a 4x4 does not. So the first step is actually making the centers so that it looks like a 3x3. We'll start off with the white center. The idea for making the white center is that we want to find groups of center pieces like this and these ones, and just, put them all together on the same side. The way to do this is by finding a group of two white centers next to each other, and we already have one, but we just need to make one more. The way we can do this is just by, putting these in the same position. And then once we're done making two white bars, then we can just join them together, and there's our white center. After the white center, you want to be making the yellow center, which is opposite to white. So we'll do the same ideology, just making, groups of two yellow centers, and then we'll join them up like this. And when we are making the yellow center, we don't want to destroy the white center. So a common, mistake that people make is that, oh, I can just do this. But then the thing is, the white center also gets unsolved. So the way to do this is by moving this block here, and then just moving this up. Move this to the opposite side and restore this white center. Now you've got yellow and white solved. Once you've finished with the yellow and white centers, the next step is, again, trying to replicate a 3x3. We want to make edge pieces, but the thing is we have two different types of edge pieces. But the thing is 3x3 only has 4 edges per face, but these look like they have 8 edges per face. So we want to make them groups of 2 so that they look like one edge. This is called edge pairing. So we'll start off with the white edges, sort of like the cross if you were trying to replicate a 3x3. The idea is we find white edges like this one, all around the cube, and we try to group them together. Let's try red, for example. So the way to do this is by making sure that once we rotate the cube like this, that we want to make the same color edges next to each other. So what we can do is move this out of the way here. Make sure the two edges you're trying to pair are both in these two middle slices. This one and this one. So we can move this red edge down here. And we can't really pair these two up because they're in the same slice. They need to be in different slices, and then we can join them together. Then we can just bring it to the white side, like so. Now we just continue for the rest of the edges. So we can, if we're doing orange here, we can do something like this. Orange needs to be in a better spot because these two are in the same slice, so we can move this with U2 and just join them together. Now, this is the tricky part for 4x4 that makes it different from 3x3. On a 3x3, we have center pieces like this, and they're in a fixed order. They're in a fixed color scheme. So when we're solving a 3x3, we don't really think about color scheme, we just solve it. But with a 4x4, there are no centers, so we have to make them, and making them in the right order with the right color scheme is crucial. Otherwise, the 4x4 would not be solvable. So this is where our color scheme order comes into play. Red, we want to insert orange into the white side, but we can't just insert it anywhere. Red is opposite to orange, as we see on a 3x3. Red is opposite to orange. So what we want to do is move this red to the opposite side and then put orange in. So let's move on with our edge pairing. Let's say we want to pair up green. We can just move this up. And here's the question. Do we want to insert green here or here? Now let's look back at our color scheme. The color scheme, if we want to do white on the side, like here, then it goes blue upwards, blue, orange, green, red. If red's over here, that means blue belongs here, not green. That means when we want to insert green, we move this to the opposite side. Now this looks correct. We have orange and then followed by green. Now for our last cross piece, we don't really need to do this just yet because we need to make these centers afterwards, and that requires an empty slot. So now let's make the rest of the centers. We'll start off with orange. You can really start with anything, but let's just do orange. So we do the same idea as before, trying to make blocks of pieces like this. If we have a 3, then we just, a group of 3, we can just find the last piece and insert it like so. We can bring this piece up and then move this in line and bring it back. Now we have our orange center. Above orange is green. So what we can do is, if we want to insert a piece like this into here, but we need this empty slot, we can just move this out of the way and then bring this into here as if you were solving like an F12 pair. So that this orange center stays intact and we have this bar. And it's better to keep this vertical like this. And what we can do now is we want to pair up these two. So we do the same idea. We move this out of the way because we need this empty slot and use our pairing idea from before. And now what we have is 2 blocks. So we can just insert this one into here like this. Make sure that this is an empty slot now because we're bringing it up. Now we have orange and green solved. Next in line is red. Red can easily, okay, we happen to have a block here, we can just insert it like this. And to put this one into here, we move this away, make sure we have this as an empty slot, and we bring it over like this. Now that's all the centers of the 4x4 done. After making all the centers, now we want to correct our last cross piece, the one we've been saving, just to make our centers. So what we do is we make sure that both cross pieces, now we're making white on the bottom, both of them are in this middle slice. So what we can do is insert this one maybe like this. If they happen to be in the same slice where you can just pair it in one move, you can take it out, restore the centers and just do F2. But if you see that these two are in the same slice, then we can do the same idea as before. We can move this away so that it's in a different position, then bring this over, take it out, restore the centers, and just insert this as if you were doing a cross piece, like that. So after we solve the centers and the white cross, the next step is to solve all the remaining edges. We want to pair up all the edges so that they look like 3x3 edges. So let's do that right now. The idea is we want to find 2 of the same edge pieces and put them in, again, these 2 middle slice layers. So we can put, if we're doing orange-blue first, we can put this one into here. If they happen to be in the same slice, then we can't really do this idea because then it will ruin our cross. What we can do instead is a flipping algorithm, which goes like this. If the 2 edges you want to pair up are in the same slice, you need to flip one of them using this flipping algorithm. As you can see now, these 2 are in different slices, which is a good thing. We can just join them, take them out, and restore the centers. Now we have this edge, which now looks like this edge on a 3x3. Now we just keep going with this process until we are finished edge pairing. So if we want to continue, we can choose red-green, insert this one into here. They're in the same slice, so we need to flip them. And now we can just join them. And make sure when you're taking this out that this slot, this edge pair is actually unsolved, so that you can insert this into here and join and restore the centers. We keep going, yellow, red. They're in the same slice, so we flip, join them, take them out and restore. Now let's move on to yellow, green. They're in different slices, so we can just immediately join them. Now we don't take them out here because this is a solved edge. We move this over so that we have an unsolved edge. Take this out and restore the centers. If you're in a situation like this where you have all the top layer edges solved, just insert like a few of them into the back slot so that you have at least one remaining unsolved edge on the top. And we can just keep going like this. So we don't want a solved edge here. Luckily we found this unsolved pair so that we can take this out. If you're in a situation like this where you have everything else solved, but just 2 edge pairs that need to be solved, then you can do this. Make sure the 2 remaining edge pairs are roughly in the same area. Solving one of them will just make the other one solved automatically. So let's just focus on red-green. So we see that they're in the same slice. Normally what we would do is a flipping algorithm and then trying to join them up. But if we try to do that here, if we try to join them up, well, there's nothing really to take it out with. When we're in this situation, we need to do the reverse strategy. Normally we would see this, they're in different slices, which is a good thing, but now we need them to be in the same slice, so that now we can join this with this edge, or this with this edge. You can either join these two edges, or these two edges, like this, or like this. But we are doing the right-handed version of the algorithm, so we'll just do this. Now we flip this edge, and join everything back. Now these are solved and all edges have been paired. Once you have all edges paired and all centers solved with the cross, then this is just 3x3 stage where this is basically just F2L. You find corners, you find edges, and you just basically solve it like a 3x3. You solve F2L using your normal 3x3 F2L strategies, and you keep going until you're done with F2L. Now, moving on to OLL. This is what separates a 4x4 from a 3x3. If you try to imagine these are edges and these are corners, it looks like you have 3 flipped edges. This is impossible on a 3x3. You can't have just one solved edge, but it can happen on big cubes like 4x4. This is called OLL parity. To solve OLL parity, we need to flip some edges. So we can use this flipping algorithm. As you can see, now we've flipped another edge, so that this is now a possible pattern that would appear on 3x3. So if we try to imagine this pattern on a 3x3, then it's just this OLL, and it can solve like that. Now moving on to PLL. If we try to recognize the PLL normally, then we have this corner headlights, this bar, this is unsolved, and this bar. This is technically impossible. This is not a real PLL. So we've got PLL parity. To solve this, we'd use this algorithm. Now it's a possible PLL. So in this case, we've got this corner headlights and this block, so it's just this GA perm. If you have a 4x4 laying around at home and you've been stuck all this time, well, after watching this video, hopefully you got some influence and you can finally solve this 4x4. Thanks for watching.